We are here sitting with two friends from Chile. His name is Omar Reygada and Dario Segovia. These two friends are two of the 33 miners that were trapped underground in the San Jose mine in the north of Chile. And they are here visiting Cyprus for a few days to see Maulana Sheikh Nasser. Omar, he's born Christian in the countryside in the north of Chile, and he received the name Omar because his mother used to read some adventure book that was going in the Middle East, and one of the characters was a shepherd whose name was Omar, and she liked the name, so that's the reason she put Omar to him, the name. The mine is in the north of Chile, in the desert of Atacama, close to a city called Copiapó, where they live. And this city is about 800 kilometers north of Santiago, the capital city. It's a copper mine, no? Cobre? Copper mine.
Cobre y oro.
And gold. When he worked for 8 years, he saw many accidents. Even himself got some accidents. He got trapped once, but he was able to get out. And his partner that worked in the night shift in the same job that he did, he died on an accident similar way. If you count from the level on the entrance to the deepest, the straight line is 800 meters. But if you measure the road that goes down, is 18 kilometers.
Que se termina el turno a las 8 de la noche, me han dicho. De 8 a 8.
The day shift that he worked, he entered in the mine at 8 in the morning, and he stayed all day until almost 8 in the evening.
Así que teníamos que abandonar la mina.
He was working he works in the heavy machinery, loading trucks and like front, and he was working and he felt the wave of like an explosion, and he thought this is an explosion inside the mine that the chief of the shift did, and he didn't tell the rest of the people. So he thought, I will load quickly the truck and then go up to see if it was an explosion and why they didn't tell them that an explosion was going to happen. But when he met the chief of the shift, he told him no, it was not an explosion, it was a rock slide that collapsed in the mine, and we have to gather everyone and get out. That was the first thing this person told him.
Salía, no había manera de salir bien.
So everyone that was around there with the chief go into the truck of this person, and they start going up, trying to find a place to get out. But it was really, really dark, and with the dust it was impossible to see anything. And then they reached to a certain level, and they realized that there was no exit. And on the level 190, everything was blocked. No way to get out. The rock slide was on the level of 500 meters below the entrance of the mine. They were trapped between the 600 meters and the 800 meters. This is the room they have underneath the blockage of the rock. ¿Y cuántos habían? ¿Estaban todos en ese momento?
En ese momento sí, 33.
There were 33. Nobody died with this rock slide. All of them, they were in the mine and they were all alive.
Las chimeneas que hay de evacuación de emergencia.
One of the younger companions of these 33 started to go around to find a way to get out. And there was an emergency exit through the chimney, like a tube going up. And they start climbing through this tube, como un tubo, ¿no?
Claro, son perforaciones que se hacen en el cerro de aproximadamente 2 metros cuadrados.
Yeah.
2 metros cuadrados.
It's a hole of 2 square meters. They call it the chimney, and it's like a long tunnel, and they climb up through escaleras, ¿no es cierto?
Lamentablemente la empresa no se había preocupado de ponerle escaleras, así que hubo que buscar los medios de
so they just climbed like this, no stairs. The company didn't have stairs for them to get out in the emergency exit. They just climbed like this as they could to reach the top level, but they couldn't find an exit. They realized that there was no way to get out when they climbed this tunnel, and they find a place where the tunnel was completely blocked with the stones that fall from the rock slide. So after that, they find that there was no way out.
Puede hacer una oración y pedirle a Dios que me ayudara, me calmaba, me quedaba tranquilo.
The situation that was most desperating for him was to be alive there and not being able to tell their families and his family that they were all alive. So that was very difficult for them, and even they were crying and breaking oftentimes, but they start to pray, asking for peace and to be more hopeful, and slowly they start to change their situation.
Nunca he renegado, por lo menos.
He comes from a very Christian family background, but what happened to him before this is that he was looking in different churches, like Christian, Catholic, Evangelist, Anglican, different branches, and he never found what he was looking for in this church. At the end, he stopped looking and he started to make his room or his house or even his the truck that he was driving his own church or place to pray. So he was always praying in these different places. It became really much stronger, the belief that there is one God and that is real, that exists, that is alive, and if you learn how to look for Him through your heart, they find much more closeness to Him. They find the response.
How many days were they trapped in the mine?
¿Cuántos días estuvieron atrapados en la mina?
Bueno, yo salí el día 70, tuvimos 70 días dentro.
70 days.
70.
70.
How many days first there was no connection?
¿Cuántos días sin conexión?
18 días.
17, 18 days.
Without any connection?
Sin ninguna conexión.
And what was the breakthrough? How did they connect with them?
¿Y cómo fue esto que se conectaran con ustedes? There were many machines, y eso como perforación.
Es una perforación, una máquina.
Many machines make like drilling the ground, going down, and some of them they missed them. The drill went far away from where they are, but they called one of the machines the blessed one because it was going down in a different direction, and at some point, without any explanation, the drill turned and started going in a different direction, and it reached their place 20 centimeters. They found them. For only 20 centimeters they found them. Otherwise they will be lost again.
Y una carta que mandaban los compañeros a su señora.
When they saw the drill, or the hammer they called it, inside the room where they were staying, they started to write letters and to paint this part of the machine in order for the people up to know that they were alive. And they put many letters, they tied them with their clothes on the machine. So when the machine pulled the drill back, only 2 letters were able to be rescued. One of them was a note saying, "We are fine, the 33 in the refuge." And the other one was a love letter from one of the miners to his wife. The first thing that went down into this tunnel was a camera that filmed them in order to see if they were doing fine, if they were alive, what was their shape, and if they were in good or bad condition. And then the next thing it came down was a very handmade phone that was attached to a 700-800 meters wire, and they sent it down and they start to speak, and the chief of that shift speak with the mining minister from the country, and they said, "We are all alive, we are fine, we are 33 in this place." I mean, he's an independent electrician, very simple. His name was Pedro, and he went to the mine just for help. He was not part of any company, he was just independent, and he took his toolbox with him to the mine. And when they were wondering, all the experts and the NASA and all the people expert in communications trying to figure out what to do with this system to make connection with by phone, he picked up old phones and these plastic things like this one exactly, and he built up with tape and microphones from old phones and headphones from old phones and a long wire, and asking different materials from different parts, and he built this complete thing down. And he finished and sent them down, and then they were able to speak.
Que le acordamos hacer una oración todos los días a las 12 del día.
They immediately after they realized their situation, the first thing they did was to organize. There was one of them that acted as their leader, and they look how many how much food did they have there, and they start to distribute the food to each of the 33. But the main thing they did was that every day at 12 o'clock at noon they will make a prayer every day, and that was very important for them.
Pero la verdad que la ración que teníamos era 2 cucharadas de atún, primero cada 24 horas, después cada 48, y después un compañero opinó que deberíamos comer ya cada 72 horas para que nos alcanzara la comida.
He said that this is something they haven't told to anybody, like in a public way, but he said that the first thing they eat was 2 spoons, like this size, of tuna fish every 24 hours at the beginning. And then after a short while, they start eating the same 2 spoons, but every 2 days. And at the end, they started to eat the 2 spoons every 3 days, every 72 hours. That was what they eat.
Mantenerme en pie.
They said that they have the blessing that one of them, of the 33 miners, was act as their spiritual leader or guide, because he knew a lot about the Bible. So every time before eating, in this noon prayer, they ask God or Allah to make the food they were taking to be enough for them. A very strong prayer. And this companion of them was asking, as God made for Jesus to multiply the bread and the fish, they were asking for them to this food be enough for them to be alive and strong. And he was saying that when they have this spoon of food, they feel satisfied. Even if it was 1 every 2 days, they feel satisfied, and they feel that they keep the strength to walk and to be alive in this situation.
Como que se purificó y no nos hizo mal. Yo soy bueno para tomar agua y me tomaba más de 6 litros de agua en el día, aparte con la mucha calor que hacía adentro.
He said that in the place where they were staying, this refuge, they only have 10 liters of water, bottled water, and that water lasts 1 day for all of them. But they have the gift or the blessing that right underneath the rock accident, there were 2 tanks of industrial water that in total were like 6,000 liters. But this water was completely polluted, rusty, brown, and they use it for the machines to drill the holes, but never for drinking. If you drink that water normally, you get sick, or you have pain, or you have problems. But they have that water every day, and they never got any problem. And he says that he believes that Allah made that water to be pure for them.
And they didn't come sick.
Nobody comes sick.
You said after they sent them the mineral water.
Después dice que se enfermaron cuando tomaron el agua mineral.
Aquí mi compañero le pasó.
Sí.
Que bueno, podría explicar lo que le ocurrió cuando llegó el agua buena.
Empezó a hablar un poquito de estómago, donde tomamos agua buena. O sea, no tan solo mía, varios. Y decíamos, sigamos tomando esta agua nueva porque no lo hace mal, te lo hace mal.
When they receive the bottled water, they started to have pain. Not only him, but all his many of his companions. And they said, we don't drink this water anymore, let's go back to the other one.
Really?
But, ¿realmente tomaron la otra?
Porque
No, they didn't allow him. They didn't allow it. Because they analyzed in the surface. They
Upstairs?
Upstairs. They took a sample of this water and they analyzed to the chemical analyst, and they said, don't even take a bath on that water.
But it kept them alive for 17
days. He was drinking 6 liters every day
from that water.
From that water, and didn't have any problem. Because it was 40 degrees temperature.
The temperature there 24 hours is 40 degrees.
40 degrees.
Daytime, nighttime?
Yes.
Ese aire para que nos mantuviéramos en pie, porque no hay otra explicación, no la veo.
He said that they were under very difficult breathing condition because 40 degrees, very low oxygen, and very heavy air. But he said that sometimes, just before, when they were starting to become desperate and to have problems breathing, there was a fresh breeze coming from. They never explained from where it was coming, of cool air and fresh air. And when they received that, they were able to rest and to gain their oxygen and to walk and to relax. And they couldn't explain because even in these 17 days, they were trying to give signals upstairs that they were alive. And they burned anything they found, wood, paper, tires of car tires, many things, and they started to burn, and they were hoping that someone will smell or see some smoke coming out of the mine. But they asked, and nobody, not even smelled the smoke. Nothing came out. So it was completely sealed after the accident. But anyhow, this fresh breath was coming to them when they needed. And they believed that this was Allah giving them the air, the freshness, for them to be alive. After they drilled that hole in the mine, they sent like a pipe of less than 1 inch wide down, and this was pumping air
into them.
But they said that was not enough because the place was too big, and they have to split the air in many places, so it was just barely enough to survive, and it was nothing.
How big
changed
was
too
the
much.
place they were staying?
¿Qué tan grande era el lugar donde se quedaban?
Sí, más o menos como 100, 150 metros.
The main place was 6 meters and 5, this square, 30 square meters. But they said it was not enough for 33 people. So at the end they split in 3 groups of 11. 11 stay in the refuge, 11 in the street, and 11 in another level close to where they were. So they could be able to have enough space to not to be touching each other. Sunday we received a phone call from Cyprus, from Maulana saying, tell them in order to get quickly out of the situation, to recite La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. So just in time, I was able to type quickly a letter telling exactly what Maulana was saying, to what they have to recite, and we put a letter and they send it together with the other things, and they print and they make 1 envelope to each of the 33 with the letter and the hijab, and we put everything in a bag and send it.
And they received it?
No, it was not Sarisi. They took it there, but the mine was closed. Nobody could enter without permission. Only some family members every day, and some authorized journalists, and it was very difficult not for anyone to go because there was many people already. And we tried through the governor, through different authorities, and they didn't allow us. So we said, well, the only way we can do for us to get to them is through someone from the families. So we started to ask who knows someone like this, and there was a new sister from Santiago that was related to him. She was recently come to us, and she said, my uncle, I know he's in the mine, and she gave us the phone number of his daughter. And these brothers from the north contact her and meet her and explain who was sending the message. They print also a biography of Maulana in Spanish, the book, the hijabs, the letters, and she said, okay, I will make sure this reach to them. And that week she went to the mine and put everything in the tube that was going down, and he received everything downstairs.
Se pusieron su protección dentro de la mina, lo recibieron yo creo que de muy buena manera porque lo empezaron a usar de inmediato.
When he received this package, his daughter wrote to him, there is some people from a very far away country that is sending this message to you. And they are, the intention is for you to be protected and for you to be saved from that situation. So for them there was the book, a picture of Maulana, this letter. He read the La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, although he was not understanding what he was reading. But he read, and he picked up the hijab and said, well, if someone so far away is sending this to us, I believe that his intention is for us to be saved and for us to be protected. So he put the hijab and he started telling and giving each of his companions the hijab and the letter, and they were all reading and putting. And he said, it's no obligation. If you want to get the protection, you do. If you don't, you just don't. Nobody is forced to do it. But after a few minutes, he saw everyone in the mine wearing the hijab. Everybody. And less than a week, they were all out.
So after they received the letter and put the ta'weez and read the shahada, in less than 1 week, everybody was out.
6 days, 5-6 days.
Algo tiene que ver por qué también llegué acá.
He believes that there is a connection, because the same time they receive everything, the whole world was connected praying, but he's believing that there is a strong connection because for some reason he's sitting here now. So he believes there is a connection between reading that prayer, wearing the hijab, and getting out.
Yo creo que puede haber una coincidencia.
He's saying that just before receiving the package, the hammer that was digging inside got trapped. And when they received the package, that day they were able to unblock the hammer and they continue digging down. So something relates
in the package.
The package make the hammer to but he's saying that there is a connection. He believes there is a connection too. When they were broadcasting, the radio was broadcasting the rescue, was like alive. And one brother from Santiago heard the journalist speaking, saying, what is this black triangle that is hanging from all the miners' neck? He was wondering. Nobody knew. But we have pictures from the newspapers, Spanish newspapers, Chilean newspapers, with some wearing the ta'weez.
Pues me encargaron que les llevara a ellos para poner en su
their
casa.
Family, they asked him to take some ta'weez for them.
Sí, él todavía
Él lo usa todavía.
There's one miner that is still wearing the ta'weez in his neck.
Osman?
Victor. Osman.
Y sí, resultó todo bien.
He's saying that he wanted to come initially from the very beginning because he needed to see in person who was the master sending his message to him, and especially he wanted to experience what was going to be his feeling when he was in front of him. And at the beginning he said, I will speak to one of the miners, first one, saying, wait, you would like to come with me? And one of them said, okay. But at the end, the wife of this miner said, no, don't go. And then a second one, he told me, okay, we have one that is completely going, 100% sure, his name is Claudio. So we arranged the trip with him and Claudio, everything ready. And last Saturday, they were in the airport to go to England, and this other miner said, I cannot go. I have a problem, I cannot go. So they called me saying, Claudio is not going anymore. and he was in the airport, and he asked him, Dario, would you like to come? If Claudia's not going, would you come? And he said, I go. And they called me Saturday and said, Claudia's not going, he's going. So I have to run, find tickets, but alhamdulillah everything open, and he ended up here.
De hecho, todavía no le aviso ni a mi esposa.
He didn't even say to his family he was coming here.
Es un señor muy humilde, muy... no sé, se nota una persona muy tranquila de espíritu, no sé, transmite algo que yo cuando le tomé la mano hoy para saludarlo, sentí algo en el cuerpo que yo creo que si ustedes ya lo han sentido, se pueden explicar de qué se siente, porque es muy difícil de explicar, porque es muy de adentro, se siente en el corazón una persona que es muy, además de que es una persona sabia, así que...
He says that when he was in front of him, he had a very nice feeling. It's very difficult for him to explain what he experienced. But when he grabbed his hand to kiss, he felt something in the whole body, like the hairs were up, and he felt many things inside. And his feeling and his what he was feeling about him is that he's a very, very humble and wise and peaceful and humble person, very nice and humble and peaceful and special, but difficult to explain for him.
These people coming from underground 700 years. 700 years. 700 years.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Hak.
نعم المولى ونعم النصير.
آمين.
غفرانك ربنا إليك المصير.
آمين.
اللهم ثبتنا على الحق.
آمين.
اللهم ثبتنا على الحق.
آمين.
اللهم ثبتهم على الحق.
آمين.
بجاه من أنزلت عليه سورة الفاتحة.
To live this world in the best way he could imagine at that moment.
Y fue cuando...
To pray, and he asked our Lord, please, if you are going to take me, and this is my time, I'm here, just take me. Dua. He felt this fresh breeze of wind, cold, that filled him. Inside, he catch breath, fresh breath, and he knew that was his presence that was coming into him at that moment. And of the first 17 days, they were very close to each other, really one entity. No discussions, no difference. They have very strong attached to each other. They were just one, like one group. Not only their families, but the whole world. To remember God through their prayers. What makes us realize that we are forgetting something that is essential, very, very important, is to be with our Lord first and then the rest.